Hello. I have an update from Dr. Wolford's consult that I wanted to give you guys. Um, he actually said that he thinks that the left side of my jaw grew too much, which is very different than what I've heard up to this point. I've always been told my right side just never fully developed. He thinks the left side overdeveloped, pushed everything over, and then caused arthritis in this joint, which has caused the degeneration. And then the degeneration has started on the left side due to the overwork and compensation from the right side failing earlier. Which leads to his recommendation, which is the bilateral joint replacement. He also wants to do something called a Wolford 1, which I had to look up. I wasn't as familiar with. Essentially, it's to help align the top jaw with the new bottom jaw. And if I understand correctly, they make an incision inside of my teeth, across the bone here, so that they can, I think, pull the bone out a little bit to align with the bottom jaw as it's finding its new home after the joint replacement. So, lots of things to research, but that is his basic recommendation. As far as the surgery itself, he said that it would probably be about 8 hours long. I would stay the night in the recovery room the first night without Elliot, and then be moved into an inpatient unit after that for 5 days. They want me on 5 days of IV antibiotics and a dilaudid PCA, which is like a pain button. Antibiotics to prevent infection in the joint, because that would be pretty detrimental. They'd have to actually remove the joint, which sounds terrible. So that's his basic recommendation. Timeline wise, it takes up to 6 months, regardless of what surgeon we go with, to make the joint, which they need a CT scan to do. So I need a CT scan. I also have that consult with the other surgeon the second week of April. So we're not really going to move on anything yet. But we're looking at, he said maybe November, December, depending on timeline. I don't know that I want to do a surgery that late in the year, because we are paying out of network costs insurance wise. Our out of pocket max is significantly more. So if we turn into 2023, that essentially doubles. So right now I'm roughly thinking January of 23. That way I'm not feeling the stress or the rush of the joints not being made in time, stuff like that. So I do need braces to align my teeth correctly, so that's another thing that we need to look at. I also need to get a blood test that insurance doesn't pay for, to make sure that I am not allergic to the titanium in the joint. I guess the standard is that if you don't have any issues with cheap jewelry, then you're probably going to be fine, but I would rather be sure. So that's a lab test that I have to order from Chicago. I believe it's like $600 and something. But that's kind of what we're looking at next, is the lab test for the allergies, the CT scan, finding an orthodontist, and then picking a surgeon. So really the ball won't start rolling on all of that until after April 12th, when we meet Dr. Movahead in St. Louis. Other things regarding the surgery: after my 5-day inpatient stay, he wants me to stay in town for, which again, he's in Dallas. He would want us to stay in town for an additional week, so we're looking at about 2 weeks away from home. I won't be able to chew for 2 weeks. After that, I can do pastas and fish, texture and consistency, for 4 months. And that, he said, is primarily to heal the Wolford, because this takes longer to heal than the joints. I won't be able to work for 2 to 3 months. It will depend on whether or not I can return to work with weight restrictions. I guess straining can really damage everything healing. And he also said it would be based on my pain and endurance and other things. Won't be able to ride the horses for 4 months, which I was actually expecting him to say longer. So I was actually really encouraged by that. And same thing with farm chores. No farm chores for 4 months, which will be kind of tough. Otherwise, just some complications I was concerned about was nerve damage. He doesn't feel that I'm at a huge risk for that, because my jaw has not degenerated and receded so much that when they pull everything forward again, that it's going to stretch everything significantly, because there hasn't been a lot of movement yet, thankfully. So he felt like those chances were slim. I might have temporary nerve paralysis, like a facial droop, or especially in your lip or your eyes, which kind of sucks. But and then he said that he's expecting my quality of life to be fantastic after this, which I think I'm a little too scared to feel the hope of that right now. Um, but yeah, he says these joints are stronger than the actual bone that is in my face right now. So I can do all of the fun, high risk behaviors that I enjoy, which made me really happy. One other thing about the procedure is I guess he's going to take like a fat graft out of my belly through an incision in my belly button and then put it in the joint. And that is to help a complication where like bony overgrowth tries to like grow into the joint. So I'll have a little incision there too. But I don't think it would be too awful, especially in comparison to my face. Um, I'll have an NG tube directly after surgery, which is like a tube that goes in your nose and down into your stomach, and it's gonna be like essentially pumping my stomach so that I don't throw up. Which, as uncomfortable as that sounds, I'm glad we're doing because I don't want to be vomiting with my face bandaged shut after that surgery, which I think is highly likely. I've only had narcotics once, and I was puking my brains out. Um, I'll also have a Foley for 24 hours. And then after that, we'll just be doing pain control and IV antibiotics. So that's about all I know now, in summary, anyways. So if anyone has more specific questions about the procedure, you can certainly send me a message. But I just wanted to give you guys an update. Everyone's been so compassionate and understanding and invested in this journey, and I just really appreciate all the questions and the support. You all mean a lot to me, so I'll keep you updated as I learn more. Don't expect an update before probably April 12th. Thanks, guys.